this is 7th Street Theater. It's a Dave Christiano. Yes, Dave Christiano. One of the famous Christiano brothers. This is his passion project. They made so many episodes of the show. And again, if you want our full background, we actually researched the show and did all this stuff. I believe it was our second year as a pod. We did a full 7th Street Theater episode. So, I don't want to go over all that backgrounds now, mostly because we forgot all of it. Instead, we really just wanted to talk about the very funny arc of The Letter, which is the focus of our episode today, because this was so funny. This was a really insane piece of television.
If you're ever in a creative rut or feel like you have imposter syndrome or something, you need to watch this movie now. Because it is insane what they are able to fill an hour and a half with.
You're right.
I want to finish this movie. I want to just cut close-ups of myself from the chin down, frantically scribbling letters out.
Scott, you said it. You said that you watched majority of the movie at 1.25 times speed. Yeah. I watched the entire thing at 1.25 times speed, and several times I was like, could I bump this up to 1.5 or even 1.75?
I think Julian's been a bad. I watched this as Dave intended. I watched this as Dave intended. I watched it on single speed, going on Twitter the whole time. As
See,
Dave
that's
intended.
The thing, is I think I will be able to focus more if it's going faster.
I'm focusing at 1.25 speed. I'm not. Yeah. I'm watching it at regular speed, but I'm only getting 3/4 of the information, so it kind of works. But you got Scott over here. Scott will sit down and watch Satan Tango in one sitting, but he's watching 7th Street Theater on 1.25. Some shit is going on with this show. The show is particularly tedious and insane.
They just can't break out of. They're trapped in limbo. They can't break out of the theater. That's the arc of this show.
Yeah.
64 episodes trapped in the stage.
7th Street Theater is a show of 8 people who were good Christians, but they were too liberal in humanity, so they were punished to limbo for eternity. And although their lives are relatively stress-free, they cannot leave the theater and each other's company where they are trapped. That's what the show is really about.
Well, one of the ladies in the show did say she left and got lunch at the 5th Street Diner.
Wait,
the 5th
really?
Avenue
I didn't
Diner.
catch that.
It was the 5th Avenue Diner, which I thought was so funny. They work at the 7th Street Theater and they eat at the 5th Avenue Diner.
Yeah, but I bet if you followed that up and were like, oh, how do you get there? She would be like, I can't remember.
Yeah, I can only give you directions to heaven.
Oh, yeah. Then their one coworker could say, go straight. Yeah. More on that later. But actually, I love the idea that their life is all Sesame Street ass letters and numbers. They're they're on the 5th Street Theater, or the 7th Street Theater. They go to the 5th Street Diner. They're listening for the latest Q drop. And that's what they
waiting
got
on the
them.
letter of the day.
Yeah. We need Mr. Wheeler to tell us the letter of the day so we can scream and clap whenever someone says it.
I mean, this really did feel like it was written by a child or for children. Every character's motivation is just I'm just curious. You have these 2 giant men who are obsessed with finding out what one of their coworkers gets a private letter.
Yeah.
And they are obsessed with knowing what is in the contents of the letter.
That is the theme of most of the show.
If this was in Sesame Street, the moral of the story would be to mind your own fucking business. But in this one, it's if your coworker receives a letter from a stalker, you need to read that letter.
Yeah.